I'm Ilana Kuchenbach, and I'm joined here today by Dr. Yosr Allouche. I'm trying my best to say it right. And you've been named the International Institute of Refrigeration, or the IIR, as many people know, the new Director General, and you'll be succeeding Didier Coulomb, who's been in that position for 2 decades. Wow. And yeah, I mean, according to the IIR's official press release, you're Norwegian Tunisian from a world-renowned refrigeration scientist with unrivaled experience, which is pretty cool. And you'll be taking our position in October 1st. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Ilan. I'm so happy to be with you here today. So thank you for inviting me.
Amazing. Well, I mean, I've got a lot of questions for you, as you can imagine, because this is such an amazing position. But I think let's start from the beginning. So can you maybe briefly share your journey in the field of refrigeration?
Try my best to answer.
So how did you get into refrigeration and then work your way to this big role? Like, what was your journey?
Yeah, so as you said, I'm a refrigeration scientist. So my curriculum is actually I'm from academia. So I'm an energy engineer, and then I have to be honest, I didn't choose the field. So I think the field or the sector chose me.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, this is how it happened. And I was, so I came across a number of proposals for a PhD subjects. And then one of them was very much appealing for me. It was about solar-driven ejector cooling system. And I was like, okay, how can we make cooling effect from solar energy? So it was a bit weird for me. And I was very much curious. And I was like, okay, I would like to explore this area. So this is how I came to the refrigeration world. And then I did my PhD in Portugal. And then I have moved to Norway to do, research work at the Energy and Process Technologies department at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, mainly working on natural refrigerants. With Professor Amir Hafna, and there I gained a lot of knowledge in the field.
I mean, Armin knows a lot, so you had a very good mentor there. He's such an expert.
Yeah, and he's very nice person as well. So I really enjoyed my journey there. And then I moved to France, so for some personal reasons, and had the opportunity to integrate the IIR. So I'm here now since 3 years, working as the head of projects of the institute. And then, as I'm also Norwegian, the Norwegian delegation, they have proposed me as their candidate to the direction of the IIR. So this is how it came. And then I was elected during the Congress last August. And here I am.
Nothing that you planned. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's very different, as I told you now. I mean, 15 years in research, and now I'm really enjoying, because I'm looking at things from a different perspective. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's completing each other, right? So I was, and I am still a researcher at NTNU, and now I'm looking at the implementation part, how things are implemented in a real world. What are the main challenges? What are the difficulties? How technology is related to policy? How to link, I mean, different parameters and different elements that are connected. So before I was only looking at my very small ejector, trying to modeling it for years. I was not a lot aware about the total landscape. And now I'm like looking at things I'm zooming out. I'm looking at things from a different perspective. And I think this is very much informative and important.
Because the theory is one side, but then once you get to the industry and like on site, it's a whole different story.
It's a different story. Yeah, different people, different background, different story. It's a reality.
Luckily, the natural refrigerant, I mean, I've been a natural refrigerant for more than a decade, and it's such a nice industry. Like, there's really such smart people who are really trying to make a difference. And especially now, it's such a good
Absolutely.
time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you've been a lifelong scholar in refrigeration now. What do you consider your most important academic work, like in this period that you've achieved thus far?
So as I told you, sorry. So I believe all the work I have been carrying on until now is relevant and very important. And actually, this is research, as you cannot move to the next step if the step before is not completed and informative. So I believe that in all researcher life, all the steps and work are very important. My knowledge, as I told you, and the experience I had at NTNU, and specifically with Armin, has been really very, very, very important for me, because I was able to build a very strong background, and I could see the potential of natural refrigerants to contribute to the transition of the sector. So mainly that many, challenges are often flagged to natural refrigerants, and the speed it's taking now in terms of technology improving advancements, so it's just crazy. So yeah,
Especially with the new F-gas regulation, it's going to go even faster.
Yeah, with the F-gas regulation 3, I think the message is very clear and strong. Yeah, it's very clear and strong. We cannot escape. Yeah, so probably better to take one step ahead and try to adapt efficiently, than trying to escape the reality. And yeah, so
that's exciting. So I mean, in terms of, there's been so much work done already in the industry and natural refrigerants, but in terms of what research do you think is still missing in the refrigeration industry? Where should scientists and researchers be focusing today specifically? Where should they be working?
Where should you work? So it depends. In order to achieve them, the sustainability goal and mainly associated to the sector, there are, I believe there are 3 goals that we need to strive for. Particularly, before speaking about the refrigerant selection, energy efficiency, I believe it's very important to deep dive into how we can reduce the cooling demand. Yeah, so mitigating the indirect emission is not only through energy efficiency, which is extremely important. So first, probably the first step is to look for the opportunities to reduce, the passive opportunities that are available, to reduce the cooling demands. And then we speak about energy efficiency. And again, at the energy efficiency, now technologies are appearing every day. There is, from my perspective, I believe all tools and knowledge are there supporting, supporting the deployment of new energy efficient equipments, and then the selection of the appropriate refrigerant. And also here we need to make sure, because low GWP doesn't mean that it's energy efficient systematically. So how to find a compromise between both, also we need to be very careful about that. If we are much focusing on, we should not only focus on the type of refrigerant or on energy efficiency, so these are linked. We need to have a clear understanding and a clear good knowledge about how we can combine and find a compromise between these 3 goals, to make them together, to make the best of them together in order to achieve sustainability.
And I think that's important on the research side as well for the manufacturers, to look at both direct and indirect emissions, not just, like you said, not just refrigerants or not just inefficiency. Because so many companies, I find, they focus on one side, but it's a collective thing, and it works together.
They are completing each other. Absolutely, they are completing each other. If you are selecting a low GWP refrigerant, reducing the direct emission from the refrigerant leakage, but at the same time, your system is consuming consisting amount of energy, then doesn't make sense. So it's very important to make sure that both are considered at the same time.
I mean, and that's just one of the many challenges the refrigeration industry faces.
Absolutely.
Like, what do you think are the biggest other challenges that the industry faces, and what can and should be done to address these? Like, what currently?
So in terms of challenges, so again, how to efficiently implement co-implement these three goals at the same time, I think it's a challenge. When it comes now just to link to the actual context with the F-gas 3, I think the big challenge also is how to efficiently implement actions which are aligned with the new regulation. So in Europe, as I told you, for the F-gas 3, the message is very clear, and we need to adapt. We need to take some concrete actions to transition the sector. Maybe also this is challenging for other industries outside Europe, because they need also to synchronize, as plans in Europe are really evolving in a very at a very high speed and with very high ambitions. So in order to ensure the market continuity, so how to make all this regulation aligning, this is, I think, not impossible, but challenging. Training technicians and operators, that's a very, very big challenge on the way. Absolutely, on the way, or the appropriate way to operate a service, maintain safely and efficiently the refrigeration equipment is another challenge. And we need to make sure that a well-trained workforce are there well behind the schedule. So these are challenges, but these are not impossible. It's only about and all the means and are there. So it's only about having the good willing and change the mindset and say, yes, we can do it.
We know where we're heading. The roadmap is there now. We need to just put the steps in place for how we're going to achieve that.
Absolutely.
So where does the IIR come in? Like, what role do you think that the association has to play in the global refrigeration industry, and what opportunity is there for the IIR to make a difference?
So for those who don't know, so the IIR is an independent IGO, an independent intergovernmental organization. We are globally known as the world-leading organization disseminating, promoting, verified, and publishing as well, unbiased, peer-reviewed scientific information. So this is very important. So we don't have any agenda. Our Bible is science. Yeah, we are based on science. So we are kind of big umbrella, and we are bringing the different key stakeholders in the sector under the same umbrella. And within the context of your question, I believe our key role is to support innovation. Supporting innovation, I think, is one of the areas that make us really unique. We are, and also through, I mean, the different actions that we are implementing, the different services we are offering to our member countries and the different members, we are bringing scientists together with the industry player. And this facilitates, I believe, the uptake of the innovation and the latest knowledge at an industrial level. So, yeah.
That's amazing, because then you're all working together with industry rather than everyone working in their own silos, because then you can actually work faster together.
Absolutely true. Yeah.
That's amazing. And if we zoom out even a bit further now from the industry and the IIR's role, what do you think the refrigeration industry, what impact can that have on climate change and sustainability as a whole? Because this sector is massively important. I mean, you can trace down every single sustainability development goal relates to refrigeration in some way or another. Like, do you think people realize how important refrigeration is? Like, what is the correlation between the refrigeration industry and climate goals as a whole?
Yeah, I will give you a number. According to our figures, the IIR figures, our estimation, and these are figures are very much reported everywhere. So the refrigeration sector, and what we call refrigeration sector, is all the applications from cryogenics to heat pumps. So this is our terminology at the IIR, so covering the AC,
all thermal systems.
All the range. So this consumes 20% of the global electricity demand. And we are forecasting this demand to double by 2050 if no action under a business as usual scenario. I confess that, and probably you know it, Ilana, so in the previous years, the sector was probably undermined, and very few, few people, probably limited to our network, are aware about these high challenges of the sectors, which is very much responsible, I believe, for climate change, but at the same time, it has a big potential to mitigate the climate change. But now I believe that there are a number of, an important number of global initiatives, since few years now, and pledges on cooling that they are very much multiplying. And an example, if I can, and I can give you an example. I was at COP27, and we used to we had a booth, and we were there, and I mean, people, they were just walking near the booth and asking, refrigeration, what are you doing at COP? So people from different backgrounds, politics, associations, IGOs. So it clearly showed that, okay, people, they don't know about the sector, nothing about the sector. And from COP27 to COP28, there has been a very, very big step done. Because at COP28, this is the first time in the history of COPs, the UNFCCC dedicate a full thematic day on cooling. But because, you know, at COPs, there are thematic days like a day on food, day on, diversity and so on. And there has been the 5th of December, it was one full thematic day on cooling. And this shows clearly the big wake up of the world on, people are now aware about the big challenges, but also the opportunities of the sector to support the transition. So there has been also a big pledge called the Global Cooling Pledge. I don't know if you heard about it.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. So for those who don't know it, it's a global call for a collaborative effort to reduce the cooling-related emissions by 68% by 2050 compared to 2022 levels. And this is a pledge that has been announced and also signed at COP28 by more than 60 countries. And the IIR has been one of the organization endorsing this pledge, but also very active because we have been one of the main authors of the report associated pledge. I believe, please go ahead.
COP was also exciting. I mean, they even had the Montreal Protocol Pavilion. There was like a lot of side events that were cooling related as well.
Yes.
The program was very packed last year. It was
absolutely,
exciting.
and the Ozone Protocol Pavilion. I think it was a very, very good idea because it bring us all together, all the network, and we have been there during the 2 weeks, sharing experience, talking about our latest projects. And also it was a good area for us to get in contact with other people, make new links, strengthen links, because we are a community and we are a small community. yeah, small community with a very big potential.
Yeah,
So,
very close-knit community. I think places like COP is so nice because you also get all the countries that aren't normally represented, like some of the developing countries, and also see what solutions they have and what they've come up with sometimes, which is very interesting.
yeah.
So, I mean, back to you more personally. I mean, for me, I always believe someone should be celebrated for their achievements, regardless of their gender. But it's very clear that everyone's making a very big deal about the fact that you are the first female presenting person to head up the IIR. Is this something that's significant for you? Do you wish people would stop bringing this up? Or like, what do you think it's a big deal to be the first, woman in this position?
Honestly, yeah, honestly, yeah, probably at the beginning it was a bit exciting, but I would prefer to bring people to stop bringing this up because I need to mention that, of course, this is a very big win for, I mean, for women, because having women, and we need more women in leadership. We need more women in refrigeration, and these came together. So it's a very, very good combination. But I need also to remember that if I was elected by the majority, so we are 59 member countries at the IIR, and if I was elected by the large majority, I don't believe this is because I'm a woman. I believe that because of my background and because of people believed in me, and also my vision, the future vision for the IIR. So this is why I believe I have been elected. But of course, I'm very, very happy that I'm the first woman to be elected at the head of the Institute now since 116 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so the IIR is here since 1908, always piloted by a man. So I'm very happy that I'm the first woman, but I'm there because of my strong background.
That's the thing.
Strong vision.
I mean, your background is impressive enough. That's also good. This is an extra, you happen to be a woman, but most importantly, you're a scientist and a researcher with all this background.
Yeah, of course. And we never stop learning. I mean, even my background, I'm very proud about my background, but I believe at the IIR, I have the opportunity also through the network and access to information and the type of the organization. I'm always learning. It's a learning process. It's a learning process, and I'm gaining and learning every single day. So even my background, I know I have very good technical background, and I'm keeping developing it every day. And I believe I'm in the good place to make this happen.
I mean, there's so many incredible people in this industry. I don't think you can ever stop learning, because every time you speak to someone new or you meet someone new, you learn a whole different thing. So.
Absolutely. And also how realistic our things is really very important, because as I told you, I was only looking at the technology. But why we are doing this technology, I was not aware that I'm doing this, for example, for very noble reasons. Like, for example, food sector is 100% depending on cold chains and refrigeration technologies. Reducing food waste and loss is possible through an efficient implementation of the cold chains, making this food available through the implementation of the cold chains, rather than looking at different options or try to recover this through a massive production of food. Yeah. I was not aware about all this, and being at the IIR, as I told you, I'm looking at things from a different perspective, and it's not only about the technology, it's about the application and the noble application of the technology. Yeah, and how you bring all this up together and how this appear in the landscape of the policy. So it's different elements.
So many variables.
And it's very, very exciting to be there. So yeah.
You'll never be bored, is what I'm hearing.
Never. Sometimes I was like, okay, probably I need 25 hours a day or something.
I mean, we do what we can with what we have, and luckily hopefully have a good support system in place as well. And like I said, it's a good community, so you have some help.
Absolutely. I have very good support. And I'm feeling very comfortable with this. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, talking about, your being a woman in the industry I'll ask, like, is diversity in the industry important in the first place? Do you think there is enough women in the industry? I mean, I ask this, but we all know it isn't. But what can be done to attract more diversity in terms of young people, in terms of women, just into the industry? Yeah, what needs to happen?
I think now, diversity, equity, and inclusion is probably a new concept that all the organizations and the industries need to include in their strategic plan. Definitely, and of course, diversity is needed. And we need to recognize that refrigeration, as probably the majority of other industries, is a male-dominated world and sector. And I'm not in favor of one of the genders, but I do believe that both genders are necessary and are complementing each other's, as in the real life, actually. Every gender is bringing its own particularities and looking at these things from different and completing perspectives. So yes, definitely, we need to bring more women in the field. And I do believe that things need to come from the very top. So if the top managers believe in this vision, believe in this necessity, then other will follow. So I believe this is, you have a pyramid. If it takes off at the top, then it will take off at the other different levels. So the conviction and the ambition to bring more women, we need to come from the top managerial level. We also, I believe that, because it depends, I mean, with women from living in different environment in society, to make them or to encourage more women to come, we need to hear them. We need to understand their daily challenges. And I believe that the industry need to show that the company or the industry is supporting them. They are here to hear you, to help you, and you need us and we need you. So it's like a collaborative effort that needs to be underpinned. And then when it comes to young people, and this is also something that I was not aware about. So the global landscape shows that we have less and less young people. I thought this only was the case at university and the research, where we were struggling to bring new PhD candidates or master students. It was very, very difficult, to bring them. And by the way, the majority of them were women. So women or girls, they were more in research, and boys, let's say, or men were even at the research itself. So according to my own experience, when it is a lab work, it was more men. When it was like a simulation or numerical work, it was more women. So I don't know why this segregation, and I do believe that this is a great time now to leapfrog and to close this gap. So definitely we need to include more women and more young people. And I'm very proud that the IIR has been always taking a step ahead. We are now very active in InWeek working. So this is a UNEP initiative that the IIR is taking the precedence from 2025 of this initiative on how to empower more women in cooling and also in care. So this is an IIR working group, careers in refrigeration. So we are trying to make some momentum and bring some young people together to talk to them about the benefits of, the opportunities in the sector and how they can efficiently contribute for the transition of the sector.
That's amazing. I think they need, like, a lot of people, young people don't even know the sector exists. So I think something needs to be done in terms of the PR and making the industry seem a bit more attractive, so we can attract all the talent to our industry.
I mean, it's not only young people. Even if, for example, I can give you some personal experience when I'm, for example, speaking to some of my friends or people in the family, and Okay, International Institute of Refrigeration. Okay, they're only looking at refrigeration as the fridge at home. Yeah,
Exactly. It's so much bigger.
they don't know that it's one of the major industries in the world, and all our life is dependent on refrigeration. With no refrigeration, we cannot exist, we cannot eat, we cannot live. So medications and the health
Hospitals, yeah.
life chain. So they are not aware about this. So it's not only young people. I mean, this is why I told you, like, sometimes I feel that we are speaking to ourselves. We are a very small community, and we need to make a wider impact. And the way to do a wider impact, I believe, is first to start with raising awareness of people on the importance of refrigeration. Yeah. And then we will speak about the emissions and the challenges, because even if we are speaking to policymakers, it's difficult to convince policymakers, because and this is not their fault, probably, because they don't understand the sector, they don't understand the technology, they don't understand. And this is something that we are now working out at the IIR, how to make this happen, how to translate from a technological knowledge or documents to a knowledge that is understandable by everyone. Yeah. I think this is the first step that you need to work on, raising awareness of people about the importance and the challenges of the sector, I believe. Yeah.
I think the industry's always had the challenge where it comes across so technical, so complicated that policymakers and anyone new, they're just like, oh, this is not for me. I don't know what this is. We're just going to leave it to you. So to make that information palatable to the wider audience is going to be an ongoing challenge.
Absolutely. And also easy to understand and very brief. This is the experience I had these years with policymakers. They don't want to read too much. They want very concise, meaningful, and punchy information, access to direct information, trusted information. And they are right. They are right. I mean, we are supposed to be here to support. Yeah. If I was a policymaker and I'm very busy with other things, I don't want to deep dive in the technology. This is not my work. This is your work. And you are here to support me, give me advice. So how to make this happen in an efficient way? So this is a challenge.
Because you should know how academics can get very complicated sometimes. You write all these beautiful reports, but no one can read it.
No, forget about the scientific writing style. Forget about reviews. Forget about all this. Now it's direct, pinchy, clear information. Yeah,
small bites of information, because there's so much data in the world now. No one's got attention span. You have to be like, this is the facts, this is why it matters, this is why you should care.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, well, this leads me into my last two questions, which I'm kind of going to combine because they're all very much, we've looked at the past and the current, so now we're going to look at the future. So in terms of the IIR, I want to look at where are you going in terms of the vision of the future? And then for you personally, when you take over the reins of the IIR, what will your key priorities and focus areas be? So if we're looking over the next kind of decade or so, the next period, what are the plans? What is the idea?
Yeah, I'm happy about this question, but this is a very sensitive question for now. But what I can tell, but I believe you understand me very well. So this is a 1 year handover now, and yes, there will be changes, many changes. Supported changes from our management committee and the current director, so all people involved at the IIR, everyone believe and convinced that we need to adapt. And this is actually not only the case of the IIR. All the organizations and companies need to adapt their missions and vision regularly. Yeah. So yes, there are changes, and I would call those an evolution, not a revolution, just to make the yeah. So this is an evolution, and these are being working out. So a new strategic plan for the IIR now is being prepared and will be soon published. As soon it is ready and validated by our executive committee, it will be published. Yeah.
Exciting. Lots of good things to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very exciting.
Well, I mean, thank you so much for your time and having this chat.
Thank you so
It's been
much,
very
Diana.
interesting.
Thank you so much. I really appreciated this chat, and I hope to have more with you in the
Yeah,
future.
that'd be great.
So,
I mean, like, have a good day that
yeah,
side.
you too. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Talk soon. Bye. Bye.